Thank you, Mr. Verhofstadt. I'm a fellow Brit, but I'm also a former member of UKIP, but now sitting as a non-inscrit. I am going to take a slightly different position to Richard's, but just to feed back some comments, and I welcomed what you had to say this afternoon. The first thing I would say is I would have loved to have seen the 40 questions in advance. That would have helped enormously in terms of improving effectively the efficiency of this afternoon's meeting. I'm slightly disappointed with the report. I've only skimmed 3 pages, but seemingly nobody chose to consult the UK MEPs just to get the accuracy right. There's no mention, for instance, that 2 former Prime Ministers promised referendums and then didn't deliver, and in which case there would have been all sorts of issues that could have been addressed. The ones were David Cameron, Richard, and Gordon Brown, both This report, yes, Richard. No, this is related to what the AFCO is going to consider, Richard. And I'm directing my comments, please, to Mr. Verhofstadt. Can I just remind everybody that the UK government in 1973 entered the European Union as the UK. It didn't enter as England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and a whole list of countries. So to keep trying to break the United Kingdom down from the outside, I don't think is helpful, but it's merely a comment. In terms of Theresa May, now I'm no big fan of our Prime Minister by any means, but I think her position in terms of, shall we say, withholding information in terms of her strategy is the right one. And let me give you one example. We saw the immigration figures from the European Union country, other member states, increase vastly. Now, I've got no problem with immigration across the European continent and amongst member states. But the minute you start creating almost a warning signal that unless you get out now and get to the UK, that's hardly helpful to everybody concerned. And may I just end by saying the hard border, again, this seems to be being overinflated within this committee. We've had a very good dialogue between the Prime Ministers of ERA and the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And that dialogue is ongoing, and I think it's a dialogue that should be allowed to continue without external interference, which at the moment appears to be negative. Those 2 countries entered the European Union on the same day, with the same signature on the same agreement. They had a relationship before that European Union membership. They were able to control their borders, and it dealt with, to a large extent, issues before the troubles really got going. So I don't welcome, by any means, the interference there. My final point, Mr. Verhofstadt, if you could please take this on board. I've come to probably 7 AFCO committees now, meetings. They've all been extremely informative, don't get me wrong. But every single time we have invited individuals who come and say how bad the UK was to make the decision. It did. Could I ask you, in terms of some form of influence, to invite somebody from HM government or from the Constitution Committee, an MP or whatever it is, and give their perspective so that at least this committee can hold a much more balanced view on the position in the United Kingdom. If you would do that, then I would be immensely grateful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.